Hey, everybody. Wendy Sellers here, the HR lady. Thanks for coming back. I am so excited to introduce today's podcast expert and guest. We're going to be talking about HR and AI, two words that are abbreviated with two letters that are interesting, and two words that are also incredibly scary: human resources and artificial intelligence. So coming from, I believe, Egypt today, who is originally from Germany, but traveling, is Reimund Nienaber. Hi, how are you?
Hi, how are you? I'm fine, great. Thank you, Wendy. Thanks for having me
Thank
here.
Yeah, thank you. I know you're traveling all over the world, and you're coming in from a completely different time zone. So thank you so much for calling in and helping our listeners, get maybe a less afraid of AI. So I just want to dive in, right away. I saw on your LinkedIn profile, that you're an HR thought leader, a consulting director, and AI expert. Tell me, what's your focus on these days in AI specifically?
Well, AI has been really growing very big these days, and even in our organization where we are looking a lot at AI-enabled skills management, we are trying to look at how can we use the AI to actually help people and organizations. So the recent development in our dashboards has been really fantastic. So I was so surprised that we can, by click on the button, employees get recommendations of what they're supposed to learn based on what's out in the market. And that's just a phenomenal thing what our AI gurus and programmers are actually capable to do. And that's really keeping me busy and gives great wows to our customer front, when we're presenting these kind of things.
Yeah, I teach people how to use ChatGPT. A lot of them are HR managers, small business owners, or, just good old employees that are saying, hey, I need help. We don't have enough humans. Well, we have more than enough humans in this world, but we don't have enough humans that have the knowledge, skills, and abilities that we need right now today, because our knowledge, skills, and abilities are changing all the time. And I really stress to people, there's no shame in using technology. Think about the time when, before Google, right? And we even Google Maps, before we had to, actually pull out a map to figure out how are we going to get to grandma's or to, our vacation. And now we have it on our phones, and people don't even think about that. And what are your thoughts? Are we going to go that way with AI as well, that it's just going to become second nature to start using AI to help us with our everyday tasks in our personal life and then at work?
I think it already helps many people in their business world already, you when you're writing letters, you enter keywords into a platform, and you say what kind of position, from what kind of point of view it should actually write this kind of letter for you. So there are lots of things that AI actually enables you to do much quicker and more rapid than you've ever been able to do and to complete tasks before. And yes, this is not going to go away. Actually, I strongly believe it's going to intensify, and we all have to learn to much better actually embrace AI and understand on how actually we have to handle it in order to make sure that it's not garbage in, garbage out, but it's like quality in and quality out,
Yeah.
and helping us to actually really improve performance with that. So because many people, and I've tried it as well, it gives you a lot of rubbish answers sometimes, AI, if you ask with the wrong persona and with the wrong question. So if you provide the right input, you get fabulous responses. If you use the right questions, it really helps you in your work, and it can definitely as well help you in your private life, in whatever other questions or conditions you might be in, where you need resolutions or answers to questions of your daily life.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think what, our listeners really need to hear is it's how you use the prompt. It's the question that you ask AI or the statement that you put in. I don't think that many people realize that, like, I'll just say Google, but any internet, website or link or internet provider all that does is send you to other people's websites, and you still, in theory, are supposed to verify is the information on their website accurate. But so many of us just put in something into Google, and we find somebody's website, whether it be Walmart or Home Depot, or whether it be somebody's actual website to buy a product or service. We still have to verify that that information is accurate and it's what we actually need. But we kind of got lazy and we just believe what's on the internet.
Let me share here with you. So what it really depends. It really, you have to know how to handle the AI, and you have to know how to work with it. So when you ask, for instance, you ask ChatGPT, some question, always ask for a reasoning.
Yeah.
So in order to see, like, does that system actually think, and is this really conclusive, or is there something mad in the brain of the AI ongoing currently, So, and that helps you, because AI must always be controlled by the humans in this instance, and how we're using it when we're using it in work, especially using it in work conditions, because otherwise you may have results that might be wrong,
Right.
and you push information out that is inconclusive, or that confuses others, and even may confuse yourself. So AI can provide reasoning, and that's very, very important thing to consider when you're using AI as well. When we're using AI on our platforms, we actually always offer as well reasoning that people can understand. It suggests this because. And that is
Yes.
a really key fact on managing the GPT prompts, or a large language model prompts, which GPT is, So on how to handle LLMs, by understanding on how to ask the right questions, and always to say, and provide me the reason why you think
Yes, I
this,
love
or
it.
why you just said why, and without that, don't trust it, because some of the reasonings that you may read, it might sound bollocks, you may not want to accept it. And then you
Yes.
have to actually fine tune your question again. So that's why there has been come out a new job that's called prompt engineering, which is very, very interesting, So it's a completely new job, new role that we haven't thought about, on how to feed information into the system, that it can understand what we really actually want to hear, what we want to get out of it, to max the output that is useful for us. And that's not an easy thing. It's not a piece of cake. That's actually some kind of art, I might say already,
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, you mentioned your platform. I know you're the director of consulting and customer success, and I'm probably going to butcher how to pronounce the company. Edligo?
It's absolutely perfect. Edligo,
Oh,
it stands for
yay.
education, and Ligo, it's Esperanto. It means like connecting the dots. So we're connecting the dots in education through our platform, and helping people and organizations to, well, upskill and reskill, having no waste learning, I call it. People will do more learning. Actually, they will have more training, but they don't take the wrong trainings, because I have been talking in many exhibitions to organizations that say, well, how do you run training? Oh, well, we decide on a program and we pour it over all our training, or our employee population. So you will have 30% that know everything already. They take the course and they have a good rest. I have 30% for them. It's too difficult. They fall asleep because they have no clue. And then you have only the other half, basically, that's really useful for those people, So, and when we say no waste learning, it's because we understand, when companies use our system, we understand what are the gaps, and people really only get that training recommended in order to close these gaps, And when you have gaps, and you are able to benchmark and understand where you want to take your organizations, you can actually steer on how to close these gaps, and even by when. And when it's done. And that's a great competitive advantage.
I love it. Oh my goodness, my mind is blown, because most of my business is training, management and HR training. And so your program is AI driven talent and learning analytics. And so do employees, say a company of, I don't know, 500 employees signs up with you, and do they have to do an assessment or something? How do you determine what training's good for them and what training is not relevant for them?
Absolutely, and you hit the nail on the head, So we have lots abundance of competency frameworks in there, for instance, for IT, cybersecurity in our system that we have already pre-programmed, and we're following international standards like ENISA, or on the US side, the NICE or the NIST standards, for instance, for the cybersecurity stuff. So, and companies, they ask the employees then to fill an assessment, just simple yes, no questions, and then after people press the submit button and have completed all the skills and entered everything, then they right away they have a learning plan, a learning path, and can just start working on their development path to complete it. In addition, they can see all kind of other roles, and they see the gaps, and they can make additional optional assessments for any other role they might be interested in. So people love it because there's a huge transparency increment in organizations, which is actually helping to improve employee loyalty in the organization.
I
Because
absolutely
people
love
see
it.
I can develop here, I love it, and I can move on. I can see what's happening in other roles and what are emerging skills and what are the hot skills. And by clicking a button, they can see, yeah, you could do this and this and this. Well, in addition, if you want to get the top of the notch, and you can compare yourself among the peers, or you can compare yourself among your team or your organization, or maybe to compare to others that are as well maybe in other companies that do a similar job where if you're getting such information out. So that's really cool stuff.
Yeah, I mean, who the heck wants to go to a training that's not relevant to them, right? Or that they've already learned that skill and now they're just wasting their time, or they're in a training that's way over their head. And again, now it's just a waste of time and money. And, I don't think many companies have money to just be tossing around. Your background is in human resources. So I love that you brought it from, being in the trenches of HR to like, okay, how are we going to help other people who are in the trenches of HR? Because it's hard these days. Human resources is a very difficult career. I'm not going to say it was never easy, because it wasn't, but even, I've been doing this way longer than I care to admit. And if I was younger right now, I'd be like, yeah, pick another career because it is hard. Employee
It's not
engagement and retention is so difficult. So your program could definitely help.
Yes. No, not only that. I mean, because I think it's as well creating lots of fairness, because you provide an assessment and it doesn't look at gender, it doesn't look at age, it just looks at competencies. And so it has as well big impact on DI and B. In addition, so because it's just irrelevant who you are, it just wants to know what and based on that, it provides you the feedback and helps you to close your gaps if you're interested. Of course, it always has to be the intrinsic wish
Yeah.
of the individual to move on and to move forward. But I can see that people really excel with this, and from what our customers actually reporting, they said like where we identify that people are on track, above track, or below track. The above track has actually increased tremendously in some organizations that they have actually decided to tighten the calculation algorithms to make sure that they don't have too many people above track, or injecting new competences, allowing them to learn more, even tougher things, and excel in these new technologies or new directions, what they're after, and what helps the business, because HR is there to support the business, and with great talent development and AI enabled skills management, you can do so much more, and understanding where your company is today and helping it to bring it where the company wants to go tomorrow from competence point of view.
Yeah, I absolutely love it. I'm fascinated with AI, but you know what? It's scary too. And I know, like I said, I teach mainly HR and small business owners and managers how to use just Chat GPT, the basics, so they're not afraid of it. I mean, should we be afraid of artificial intelligence?
I don't think that we need to be afraid. We need to know how to handle it. That's
Yes.
what I said earlier. So we need to understand the basics, and the basics are just like that. That system will only make you have to understand. Very simple. An AI system provides a response based on your input. So if your input is great, the output will be great. If your
Right.
input is questionable or not that great or not that great defined, so then the output will as well be very loose. And that's why they call it ChatGPT, because it can become very chatty and
Yeah.
very elaborate and tells you stories about things that you have actually not asked about. So, but when you're very precise and you tell me exactly about this from the position of that, provide additional reasoning why you'd said this and that, then you will wonder how great the output actually could be.
Yes, thank you for that. And for our listeners, don't be afraid to use ChatGPT. You don't put any personal information in there about you or anyone else, but start messing around with it and just plan a vacation somewhere, give it specifics. If you want to be vague, you can create a song and be very vague. I myself am using AI practically every day. I use an AI program to edit and touch up my podcast due to honestly my never ending scratchy voice. I live in Florida and we've had many hurricanes in the past couple of years. And just recently, there's piles and piles and piles of trees and moldy house things sitting everywhere. And so I have been sneezing and my voice has been just shot this past 6 months. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to start using AI to edit some things so I don't sound like I have a constant frog in my throat. So don't be afraid of it, folks. The other thing that I would say is grab a job description and put it into one of your AI programs. Start with ChatGPT or Google Gemini. There's free versions, and ask ChatGPT or Google Gemini to create 10 interview questions based off of this job description, and then just copy and paste it in there. And that alone, I think, will help you go, oh, this can help me. It's not going to hurt you. It's going to help you. You can't hand over an entire job to AI. Well, you can, but you shouldn't, because there's no one there to verify it. With that said, Reimund, thank you so much for coming today and educating us. How can our listeners reach out to you and connect with you?
Well, easily people can connect with me via LinkedIn. You find me on LinkedIn, and maybe you provide the link in your
I
session
will.
notes. And of course, via email, as well, available anytime to help. And we have a great team and happy to help. And there's as well a great simple demo available where if people would like to try it out, just go to edligo.com, get started, and there you can get started, or book a demo with us.
Absolutely. I'm actually going to get started and do a trial as soon as I hang up here. I'm so excited to share this information with everybody. And folks, I will put his information in the podcast notes. Thanks for coming today, everybody. Take care and stay safe.